You're all very welcome to the Iontas Centre in Castleblaney this morning. If time pressures don't allow for hanging about, so we're going to get everyone seated. If you can find a seat in the room somewhere. Good stuff. You're all very welcome to the launch of the Social Enterprise Policy Bank. I'm going to say very little other than introduce our speakers, and we'll get proceedings underway straight away. So I'd like to welcome Gabriel O'Connell, the CEO of Monaghan Integrated Development, to give us some background on the Social Enterprise Policy Bank.
Thanks, Francis. Okay, on behalf of Monaghan Integrated Development, a Louth local development company, and County Cavan Local Development, I'm delighted to welcome everyone here today at the launch of our Social Enterprise Policy Bank. Sounds a bit complicated, but we'll know a little bit more about it as we go. So a special welcome to Minister Heather Humphreys, Niamh Smith TD, Las Councola, Monaghan County Council, Aoife McCooey, public representatives, social enterprise representatives from across the three counties, respective chairs and colleague CEOs, all welcome. As I said, a special welcome to the Minister who will officially launch our Social Enterprise Policy Bank here this morning. And Heather is a strong advocate for social enterprise and community development generally, as we know. And we're delighted to have her here today. And I know she has a busy schedule. So, and I have been warned by Julie, our Social Enterprise Officer, to move along quickly and keep things moving. So thanks, Julie. I suppose just to give a little bit of context, the launch of the National Social Enterprise Policy back in 2019 signalled a strong recognition from government of the important role and the potential of social enterprise across the country. And I suppose since that time, all local development companies across the country, but certainly here in the border region, ourselves, Louth and Cavan, have been looking at that social enterprise policy, looking at our own programmes like SICAP and LEADER, and making sure that we align our supports with the objectives of the policy. So that's been done. A lot of work has been done in that respect. Here in Monaghan, we undertook a social enterprise strategy, so a strong piece of work on that. We know the similar has happened in Louth and in Cavan. So again, that's just looking into the fine detail at a local level, what supports the social enterprises need and how we can best provide those supports through the public funded programmes that we have, SICAP, LEADER, etc. So a social enterprise policy bank resource includes a range of materials relating to the operation of the social enterprise, such as a sample of templates and guides on developing policies and implementing procedures covering important topics. So I suppose we all know in social enterprises there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of administration, there's a lot of governance and compliance things that have to be done. And rather than every single social enterprise having to run and try and get this, maybe hire a consultant having to do all of this. So we've pulled all best practice documents together, all templates together, covering areas like governance, financial management, health and safety, and I suppose different handbooks, employee handbooks, funding and finance, and how to access funding as well. So all of that's pulled together into a very user-friendly web-based service. So so that's been done. I suppose compliance issues, as we know, will continue to be an issue for funding, and with public funding comes compliance and comes requirements. So these things cannot be ignored, they have to be adhered to. And we want to help the community groups who are social enterprises and becoming social enterprises. We want to equip them as best we can to take on that task. Okay, so what we're trying to do, so with the Social Enterprise Policy Bank, we've developed a one-stop shop online policy resource bank for social enterprises, which is a host for downloadable and editable templates and toolkits to assist with developing organisational policies and procedures. And we'll see a little bit more detail of that now in a moment when Philip from Quality Matters goes into it in a bit more detail. I suppose the Policy Bank hosts recordings as well of training events that has happened, and that's something we keep building on as we go along, and we think this can become a really useful resource for the social enterprise sector. Okay, so the project is focused on building that capacity, as we've said. We feel it's digitally innovative, and we all hear today about the importance of smart villages, particularly in the LEADER programme. So, digital innovation and making things easier for people to use and easier to access is something that it's all about now. And I suppose the website will have a particular focus on 7 subject matter areas that are really important to social enterprise. So that's around good governance, financial management, health and safety, human resources, including recruitment, how to best do recruitment, employment contracts, employee handbooks, all of that important stuff. Funding and financing, how to access funding for your social enterprise. GDPR, a really important one in recent years. And social impact measurement is a new one that's creeping in. How can you validate the value of your project proposal and present it in the best possible light and try and back that up with facts and figures? So that's something that's now arriving on the scene as well. So just in wrap up, I believe the Social Enterprise Policy Bank will evolve and further develop in line with the emerging needs of the sector, and it will continue to provide the practical supports that we've just mentioned there, and those will evolve into the future. I just want to acknowledge the work of the community enterprise officers across the 3 counties, Julie, Orla and Mary. When it became clear from the 3 strategies in the 3 counties that we all had a common kind of a challenge there to try and support the sector, the guys put their heads together, worked really hard on this, mind the social enterprise strategy, making sure that this will address a really important need there. So well done on that, guys, and I know Julie and Mary. I might ask just for another little acknowledgement. Julie's moving on from us this week. I think she might be coming up to her last day. And Julie has been Community Economic Development Officer with MID for a considerable number of years now, and has left a mark on the role within the company. And this and the strategy are just 2 examples of that. So Julie, we want to say really publicly to say a big thank you to you. Pastures greener and Pubble's benefit is MID's loss. Okay, I just want to also thank Quality Matters for their technical support in relation to this, and I know Philip will give us a good overview now and get under the bonnet of what the Social Enterprise Policy Bank will actually do. I also want to acknowledge the network of community services programs in the region. We also brought them in on the project because they're impacted by it, and they contributed and made their mark also. I just want to acknowledge finally the funding. It came from the COVID fund through ILDN and the dormant accounts. And again, this was really useful. And the example of the project here will be a benefit, I think, to all social enterprises nationally, not just the 3 in the region. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Bang on time. Julie is just moving on when she's got all that in order. I'm just going to say, before we go to our next speaker, if you have a phone, if you can just turn it to silent. Should have said that earlier on. Air is human, but to really feck things up, you need a computer. So I'm going to welcome our next speaker, Philip Izard from Quality Matters. And Philip is going to, hopefully, all the technology works for us. He's going to take us through the website.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Gabriel. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here. My name is Philip. I work for a charitable organisation called Quality Matters. We provide support to social enterprises, community voluntary organisations across the country. We also run a social enterprise as well. It's called We Make Good. If you got the Irish Independent magazine on the weekend, we were featured in it. So if you've got that sitting next to your chair, you might pick it up and give it another read. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Social Enterprise Policy Bank and what it is and what it involves. And I'm also going to give you a very small tour and try to make that as interesting as possible, given that we're all looking at a website. The Social Enterprise Policy Bank was created for social enterprises as well as for organizations, community voluntary organizations, and community groups interested in developing their capacity and the necessary policy procedures to be able to be a social enterprise here in Ireland. Our interest was to be able to help these organizations with understanding what does good governance look like for a social enterprise, as well as meeting the necessary statutory and legal requirements that are involved for any organization of that type. In essence, what it is, it's a library of practical resources, videos, and tools to support any organization with being able to make that transition and supporting them into the near future with being able to make sure that they have the requirements and that their board and their staff are well informed about what those requirements look like and how to be able to apply them to their work. Obviously, as Gabriel did such a good job of articulating, there are a number of organisations for whom to thank. And I won't go through all these people, but I will certainly, it's important to name the work of Orla Drew, Julie Clark, and Mary McCabe, from your local development companies who were instrumental to this and, as everyone knows, worked tirelessly for community groups and social enterprises in the community. We also want to thank, obviously, the funders who made this work possible. The work was also done in part with thanks to a group of expert kind of advisors who did their work pro bono. We have a number of well-known, very reputable organizations who took the responsibility of helping to draft many of the policies, procedures you'll find on the website, and as well as externally reviewing them to ensure that these were in line with the current requirements. And they're thanked on the website, but I want to take the opportunity now to really appreciate their work. As Gabriel already pointed out, there's a number of resources that are available. By no means is it comprehensive, but certainly what we tried to do was develop a large set of resources and templates that would be available for any organization. When you stack these together, it is a bit overwhelming, yes. But when you look at each of these as different elements, they all deal with very crucial elements for any organization. So what you'll see is there's a number of resources that are designed specifically for boards of directors, so that they are well aware of what their rights, what their responsibilities and their roles are in relation to a social enterprise. But we'll also have things like data protection policies, health and safety policies, human resource guidebooks. In each of these large guidebooks, what you'll find is a number of templates. So it's not just the policy that you're getting access to, it's a number of easy-to-use templates that you can kind of take, adapt, share with your staff and your board, and make your own and implement. All with the kind of comfort that many of these are designed with social enterprises in mind. We're going to take a look at a few of them in just a moment. But it is quite large, and the hope is into the future that we'll be able to add to this list based on the needs and the requirements that we see within the community voluntary sector or the social enterprise sector. There are lots of resources that are available online, and Gabriel already noted a few of them. So we've got about 20 plus different policies and procedures available to download right now. We also have a series of recorded training videos. For anyone like myself, the idea of working through a 20-page policy document can be a bit arduous. So what we have is a number of facilitators and some of the experts that you previously saw delivering training to a group of community volunteer organizations, working their way through it and identifying really what are the things that any organization, CEO, chairperson or board member would need to know about each of those policies before they begin to implement it. As well as a series of good practice recommendations to kind of, once it's been implemented, how to make sure that those are being reviewed regularly. We also, last but not least, have a series of digital resources. In Ireland, there are a number of different statutory agencies, as well as kind of semi-state organisations, like, for instance, Safeguarding Ireland, or TUSLA, that have a lot of requirements when it does come to governance and specific aspects of any organisation. And to make it easy for everyone, we've tried to consolidate all of those websites into a single place so that you can easily access them. And if it's right with everyone, we might just take a look at a few of that right now. Great. This is the Social Enterprise Policy Bank website. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at just one of these areas, say, human resources. So the website itself has got all of these different policies that are available to download. So you can see immediately there's a number of really important policy procedures you can kind of access. A draft or sample version of a contract employment that you can kind of make your own for your organization, just changing a few details, more importantly, the employee who you're employing, as well as details about your organization. But you also have a staff handbook as well for your team. So for each of these, before you even download it, you can quickly go in and kind of scroll through and you can see all the details. No, it doesn't come up very well on the screen, but you can already kind of tell it's crammed full of detail. And you can easily download it. Each of these, they're all free. We only ask one small thing, is that any organization does it, just lets us know what your name, what your organization, and whereabouts you're from, and then it's yours to download. It's not used for marketing purposes. It's used actually just to keep an inventory of all the organizations who access it. We also have a series of YouTube videos that you can kind of click and watch. I won't do it now because we'll be sitting there all day watching these. But each of the different pages that you saw on the home screen have a different video associated with it that covers not just the kind of the main different policies, but all of the kind of details and the templates that are involved underneath it. All the information is kind of kept under kind of 6 different topics, all ranging between different things. And if, for instance, you're looking for something very specific, you can always use the search bar as well at the top, because we spend a good bit of money doing that. So maybe you're trying to find something involving the directors of your board, just type in the word directors, and everything in the Social Enterprise Policy Bank that has that word is going to appear, which is a lot. Just in case anybody is interested in kind of asking some questions or learning more information, the first protocol I would suggest is speaking with your local development company. The website is something that's been developed by 3 organizations: Cavan County Local Development, Monaghan Integrated Development, Louth Partnership. But it's not being staffed. There isn't a group of people who are behind it who are Social Enterprise Policy Bank staff members. The website is designed to support your organization and probably go alongside the work that you're doing with your local development companies. So what we've done is we've put a map of all the different LCDCs that are available across the country available here. And that would be the best protocol for anybody who's got a question. If you do have a question about the website, there is an email address as well that you can contact. But again, we recommend that this is meant to be a support to the work that you're already doing with your LDCs or with your board of directors. There are many supports out there. We hope this website will be one piece in your toolkit to help you get moving in the right direction and support your work. So, listen, I don't want to take any longer, but thank you so much. And I'll be here for the Q&A, so thank you. I appreciate your time, everyone.
Thank you very much, Philip. As Philip has said, the resource is packed full of templates, policies, information, and it's available nationwide to any social enterprise anywhere in the country. In the past, Monaghan has generally been unfortunate not to have a minister in government for a long period of time. And whenever we have had one, we've generally had one during a big recession somewhere along the line. So we've been blessed this last number of years to have a very able minister in government, and at a time when there has been a few bob spare, even though there's been times when it's been tight as well. But we're delighted to have her and like to welcome Minister Heather Humphreys.
Thank you very much, Francis, and good morning, everybody. And can I just say I'm delighted to be here this morning for the launch of the Social Enterprise Policy Bank project. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague, Deputy Niamh Smith, and Councillor Aoife McCooey. And I just want to thank the Iontas Centre and the team here in Castleblaney for the kind invitation to be here. From the outset, I just want to acknowledge the great work carried out by Monaghan Integrated Development, Cavan Community Local Development, Louth Local Development, and the Community Services Programme Network, all of which are well represented here this morning. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a very strong supporter of social enterprises. My background was in the credit union movement, and I suppose it was one of the greatest financial social enterprises that was ever set up in this country. And when you were talking through the various policies and procedures and all of that stuff, the credit union movement went through all of that as well. And we used to collaborate. We'd have groups come together. We'd bring in consultants. We'd get the policies. And we have to get, the one thing I will say to you about policies is get buy-in. You have to get buy-in from your board and your members at a local level. Because there's no point in having all these fancy policies on a shelf and nobody is sort of looking at them, nobody's taking them on board. So that's the one thing I would say. Try and organise a meeting with your board and get their views on how, because sometimes when you get it given to you, you're inclined to just say, oh yeah, that's it, that's that box ticked. But I really mean this. If you get buy-in from your board and they understand their responsibilities and how everybody can work together, it will certainly benefit. Can I just say that this policy bank is an excellent project that will support social enterprises the length and breadth of the country. And what you're doing here, the three counties and the three leader or local development companies are working collaboratively, and when you're doing that, you're benefiting everyone. And you're pooling your resources to help each other. And I think that's hugely important. And I really commend you for doing that. So this is a one-stop shop for social enterprises. And you're going to get a lot of supports here. And there's a lot of resources there, and there's helpful information. So whether it's in relation to getting advice for grant applications or getting the online training, all of these supports are available through the project's easily accessible new website. And Philip has given us an outline there, and he showed one book there, I think there was 30 pages, and then he said there was a video. I said, that's a good job, because the video will tell it all very quickly. Because when you start to, you do need the reference books, but the video just gets it into your head much more quickly. But what this is about is it's about supporting our social enterprises to develop, to grow, and to very much succeed into the future. And I'm really pleased that my Department of Rural and Community Development was able to support this project with almost 80,000 in funding under the COVID-19 Social Enterprise Regeneration Programme. And this programme is administered by ILDN, and it's all about supporting our social enterprises in their recovery from COVID-19. And I've said it before, COVID-19 really placed a spotlight on the wonderful role our social enterprises play within the community. And even during lockdown, the social enterprises kept the show on the road, and they continued to provide the vital services, including to our most vulnerable citizens. And the dinner still arrived on the doors, and that was so important to older people who couldn't get out, and they brought them things a lot. There was extra things, there was loads of other things that we don't even know about that the social enterprises did for people during COVID. So that's why I was delighted to announce 1 million under this programme in the summer, so that funding is supporting hundreds of social enterprises nationwide. And given their integral role in communities and their primary focus on social impact, social enterprises, I believe, will play a critical role in ensuring Ireland's economy is an inclusive and sustainable one. But if we're to help grow our social enterprises in these areas and to inspire new social enterprises in the future, we need unique ideas like the Social Enterprise Policy Bank that we are launching today. So I really do want to congratulate the partners behind this project. You've put in an excellent application for funding, and of course that was always very helpful when they're being assessed and you score well. And I just I do appreciate that. That for a lot of the volunteers here, a lot of you are rolling out services in your own communities, that this here is going to be an invaluable resource. And Aidan said to me there a minute ago, he says, this is great stuff. So that's an endorsement, and this is what we need. And I know there's a lot of there's a lot of compliance out there, but then we have to be accountable for public money, and we have to have policies and procedures, and we just have to do that. And it's if we can streamline it and make it easy for people, and when you get into the swing of it, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be when you look at it first. So can I just say there's great work going on within my department at the moment in relation to developing and supporting our social enterprise sector. We're in the final year of the National Social Enterprise Policy, and work has already commenced by my officials on a new policy for the sector that will be even more detailed and ambitious. The OECD have carried out an in-depth international review of the implementation of the National Social Enterprise Policy, and they're due to report on that in December. And this report will provide the Department with an international perspective on the development of social enterprise in Ireland. And work is nearing completion on the first national baseline data collection exercise of social enterprise in Ireland. And that's due to be completed in December also. So with the results of the OECD report, along with the baseline exercise, there will both be valuable resources when developing the upcoming successor to the Social Enterprise Policy that's due to be published in 2023. And as with the first National Social Enterprise Policy, my department is adopting a partnership approach to its development. We're going to consult widely with stakeholders, and we'll be holding a number of regional consultation events starting in Letterkenny on the 24th of November. And further regional consultation events will take place in Dublin, Limerick, Waterford and Cork. And I really hope that we receive contributions from all of you here in the room. And we're holding the annual National Social Enterprise Conference on the 17th of November. So that's not too far away. It's an online event, so spaces are not limited, which is great. So if you haven't registered, I'd really appreciate if you could do so, because and you can get it on my department's website. So really, what can I say? Only congratulations on this excellent project. I think this is going to take off, and it's going to play a pivotal role in supporting social enterprises, large and small, all over the country. And I just want to pay a special mention to Julie Clark and Mary McCabe, who Francis said was instrumental in pulling all this together. So thank you, and I wish you well, Julie, as you move on to new pastures. And what can I say? I think this is a great initiative, and again, it's important that people who are delivering these services get the support they need. I know you meet at various different things, but I suppose I'm just thinking out loud here, probably be no harm to have a meeting someday just to exchange ideas, because we always learn from each other when you sit down, and maybe get a chance after here, later on this morning, just to have that interaction, to hear what's working well for you in your area, and somebody else can learn from that, and even to go through the policies as well. It's a good idea to have that conversation. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Well done on what you have achieved here. And can I just say that I'm fully supportive of the social enterprise. And I remember when I went into the credit union first, one man said to me, he was an old credit union stalwart, an Adel and Noam, but anyway, he said to me, we're not for profit, but for service. So there you go. That's what it's about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. One of the things that you don't think will happen in your lifetime, but I'm delighted to say that it has happened, is I've had the pleasure of standing up to introduce a lady minister to launch our social enterprise policy bank, and I'm delighted now to call on the Lascar Hearlock of Monaghan County Council, who's also a lady, Aoife McCooey, to address us. Aoife, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Francis. It's fantastic to be here today in capacity as Lascar Hearlock, and I wish to extend apologies on behalf of Councillor Sean Conlon, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, and he was disappointed. But I had no problem in accepting the invitation, and I'm just delighted to be here this morning. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Minister Humphreys, Deputy Niamh Smith. This is just a fantastic initiative, and I wish to congratulate all involved: Monaghan Integrated Development, Cavan Local Development, Louth Local Development. I think when great minds all come together, we can achieve so much, and I think that this is going to be so valuable to volunteers across our counties. I know I've done a lot of voluntary work over the years, and I know how onerous a task it can be for our volunteers in terms of governance and in terms of paperwork. And we expect so much from our volunteers, and I think if we can give them a toolkit that's going to assist them absolutely, let's do it. And I think it was a fantastic initiative, and I'm sure Heather had no problem in funding it because it makes sense. It's a common sense approach to a very real issue that we're facing. And I think, I know myself, I'll definitely be clicking in and using some of these templates without a doubt. I have some things sitting on the desk at the moment that will require this. Look, it's an excellent resource, it's an excellent idea, and I'm here to endorse it. And I just want to congratulate the volunteers that's here today, because without you, you're the lifeblood of our communities across the island, but especially in rural Ireland. Volunteers do so much, and I don't think they get the thanks that they deserve. And I just want to thank all the volunteers here today for the work that you do. So many organisations and initiatives couldn't take place without you, and we've seen that especially during COVID. So thanks again. I'm just going to keep it brief and just congratulate everybody here today, and thank you.
We have a vested interest in keeping everything proceeding on time, because the Minister is going over to Monaghan to open the Monaghan Migrant Support Centre for us later on this morning at 12 o'clock, so we'll have to keep her on time. But what's going to come up now for the second part of this morning's event, the Minister will be leaving us shortly, is we're going to have a session. Philip Izard is going to chair it and do MC, and we're going to explore future opportunities for social enterprises, and we're going to look at some case studies and do what Heather has recommended, which is to network among each other and see what can be learned from each other. So for now, we'll take a comfort break. Thank you, everybody, for coming along this morning, and thank you, Minister. Julie, would you like to say anything just before?
Just that there's tea, coffee, scones, and
yes.
toilets on the right
yes.
side door. So we'll just take a quick refresh and then we get
the show on the road. Great stuff. Thank you very much, everybody.